good to see you all this afternoon. Thanks for coming. How many of you were here last week for Dale's on Evernote? Any of you downloaded Evernote? Yes, I have. I downloaded it. Yes, it's quite interesting. It's quite good fun. So today I'm going to talk about a foolproof method of improving your teaching, and it's actually Iris, the in-school camera that we've got. I haven't brought the camera with me, but I have brought the microphones just to show you. What is Iris? Some of you may not know anything about it. It is, sorry, I haven't had time to do the bullets on that, so I'll just talk through them briefly. What it is a omnidirectional camera which goes on a stand and you can put in your classroom and it films your lesson. It's also got a high quality audio microphone, which you wear around your neck, and so it picks up your sound, it also picks up the students speaking quite well. Also, it includes a second microphone that you can switch on and put on a student's desk, and you can hear their discussion, and you can move that round the room. And when you're speaking, this cuts out, I think, so it kind of cuts in and out, so it doesn't override it. And the camera kind of streams the film to a web-based software package that you can control on your computer at the front of your classroom. If you've got a freeze on your screen, that's very helpful, so that you can fiddle around and just aim the camera right. If you find that a bit much, and I find it a little bit much at times, you can also get someone else involved in this. I'll just show you quickly. You can choose either to do a, let me just go back in and out. You can select whether you want to do a, what's called a, if I was to schedule an observation, a self-observation, which is the bottom one, where no one else apart from you sees what you do, and then you have to control it through the computer. If you want to be observed and get someone else to be involved, they can sit in the room somewhere else, log in as well, and control the camera for you. And while they're sitting there, they could do some marking, or they could write some comments about what's going on in your lesson. And when we get to it, we also have a nice facility which is called in-ear coaching, where someone else can sit somewhere and they need to know what they're doing, but make suggestions about how you could improve your teaching in the lesson. The film is entirely the property of the teacher. It's groundbreaking, really. This takes CPD right back into ownership of the teachers, rather than feeling that it's something that's being done to you. I did a film on Monday, and I watched it, but then I deleted it because I thought actually that wasn't great. You know. So I've got complete control over it. You can also use on-screen tools like comments, a bit like a Facebook status update. You can comment on your lesson. If you share that with someone else, they can comment on your comment, they can make another comment. So there's a lot of interaction that can take place. And also you can do counters. There are little counting tools that you can create to look at whether you're doing open and closed questions, how much time you're spending at the board, or at your desk, or going around the class, which is all quite exciting. We have got other people in here who've used Iris quite a lot as well, I'll indicate in a second. The Iris effect, this is my own idea, the Iris effect. I noticed when I was watching my lesson on Monday with my Year 10s, that I was just standing around grinning with my hands in my pockets, and just generally I've turned a camera on, the camera does the teaching for me, I don't have to worry now. So just beware of the Iris effect, because the camera doesn't teach for you, you still have to teach your lesson. It is a bit novel, but kids soon get used to that. One of my colleagues says, oh, it looks really intrusive in your room, but after a while they just ignore it. That's not a problem. Position of camera stand in the room, make sure you can actually see enough of the students. Some people are worried about how they'll look in front of the camera, and it did occur to me I could have done with getting a haircut before this week, so that I look a bit better on camera, but not that vain really. And to be honest, once you've thought, oh, how silly I am, do I really slouch like that? Do I really do that? Once you've got over all that, it's much more interesting watching the students, and it's annoying if you haven't, you know, if you've got a whole row of students out of view. So do think about where it's going to go. There are ramifications in terms of plugs, aren't there, and internet access, so think about that. Turning the microphone on, I've forgotten to do that several times, and there's only so much you can get from watching silent lessons. Audio is really important, okay. Getting depressed is another issue. All right, when you watch a lesson, you think, oh, it's rubbish. You know, I'm a terrible teacher, I really ought to hand my notice in. The great thing about it is, even if you watch a lesson and you think it was awful, immediately you know that next time you see that class you're going to do something differently, and you're the only one seeing it, so everyone's a winner really. Another problem is too much footage. If you film loads of a lesson, you've got to, well, you either sit and watch through it or you don't, but you don't have to film a whole lesson. You can film a 10-minute moment in the lesson. And the nice thing is that you can also move through the video really quickly to find the bits that are important. What I've learned from Iris, I've already talked about weaknesses, particularly for me, I noticed this week, my pace. Sometimes I don't realise how the pace can go in a lesson, or how long it's taken to get everyone started so they're ready to do an activity. And you don't realise until you watch it back what the students are experiencing. Student dynamics is incredible. Just watching who talks to who, you know, and who works with whom is really fascinating. Russell was saying that was one of the big things that you benefited from it. Capacity for self-improvement is just huge with this, because you can keep on going with it and really make a difference. How are we doing for time for dinner, right? Sharing of practice, this is also very exciting. Quite a few schools use Iris, and one of the schools that was using it were talking about building up banks of excellent lessons, of good footage. If you've done a lesson and you like it, you can add it to the shared library, and you know, you can either share it with particular colleagues or you can share it with everyone here. Because we're part of a Blue Flag Alliance with other schools, there's also the potential to share between schools, which is potentially quite exciting. Also on the sharing of practice, you could build up clips from different subject areas. You could say this is an excellent fell-from lesson, you know, and that could be a lesson which is shown to new teachers, which is shown to trainee teachers, which is just something to kind of boost us all on a bad day. It's also relevant at any stage of teaching career. It doesn't matter how long you've been teaching or how little you've been teaching, you can learn from Iris. I think that was the main... Oh yeah, just a couple of practical details. We've got some usernames available. There aren't many, but if you come quickly, you can get in on the Iris action and start filming yourself. You always knew you wanted to be a superstar, didn't you? So yeah, Pat or Vicky, I'm not sure, one of those two, would sort that out. You can log on and book yourself a self-observation or with a colleague. What we're recommending is that you work with someone else. And in fact, I think that's the next stage for me, is to get someone else to agree to, because I find it really hard to direct the camera while you're teaching at the same time. Schedule a before break or lunch lesson so that IT can come and set up the camera for you. IT are just great at this, they are brilliant, and I've had to call them back and back to sort things out. You have to be a little bit patient. You might find the first lesson, you need to have something you know kids can get on with while it's all being sorted out, just in case it doesn't work the first time. I've anticipated my bullet there. But, you know, have a go at it, do another one. It is guaranteed to improve your practice. There's nothing like seeing yourself teach. Think about the number of times you've had a discussion with someone who's observed you and think, well, no, that's not what I do. You know, no, they won't like that. And if you've got video footage, imagine getting a formal observation irised, which I know Gail's done, haven't you, Gail? And then you can watch back through it and you can just see if you agree with what the judgments were and decide on how you're going to improve your practice. More power to the teachers, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so any questions on Iris? I think I've got a blog. I've done a little blog post on the blog about Iris, because you do find out who the you know, camera happy students are in the class. Put Iris on, and that's just the slides. Any questions at all? Do feel free to ask.
You had, because I've used it and I was struggling to pick up the students. So when you could hear my questioning, but you couldn't hear the student responses. And I did have a spare microphone in the middle of the room. But it still was. Have you ever had that kind of issue, or?
I have noticed that students can be a bit quiet on it. Yeah. So I suppose we've always talked about this in English, that we need to encourage students to speak up a bit. Yeah. And it's a good opportunity to do that. You know, if they want themselves to be heard. Yeah,
because I've used it and really liked using it, but I just felt that was one of the sort of problems, is you couldn't always hear the student responses.
But I think that is quite important what Ben has said, because one of the things, when I sit at the back of an English classroom, I'm experiencing it from the children's point of view in those rows, and sometimes they'll offer an answer and the teacher will respond, but actually in the back you've heard the teacher's response, but you never heard what prompted that, and you can forget that sometimes. And some of our children do just need to be told to speak up and speak more clearly as well. So it's a bit of a combination of technology, but also of us really teaching them to articulate more clearly what it is they're offering as a response.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else has used Iris here apart from Russell and anyone else? Michelle's used it?
I've used it in an observation, so observed somebody using the iris, which was really useful. I would highly recommend that.
It's a great piece of equipment. It really is quite good quality, piece of equipment to have in school. So that's very exciting.
So if I want to borrow it,
yes.
Do I phone up IT or what do I do?
Yes, you actually, first of all, you go and schedule a live observation,
yeah.
and then you also email or phone IT and let them know that you want it. As it gets used a bit more, sometimes looking in advance is good. But also you need a username to log on to the website, so you need that first, otherwise you won't be able to view your footage.
You can just you can just watch it straight away and delete it, can't you?
You can.
And so where we are sharing maybe just a few of the login things, as long as you look at it reasonably quickly, and if you don't like it, you didn't want the next person who might use it to see it, just click delete. You've gained what you wanted to gain from the experience. Or if you're quite proud of it, leave it in there, and then other people can view it. But yeah, it is a bit. They do cost a lot, each of the logins, and I think it's better if we try and just share and try and use it a little bit more. Would be absolutely fantastic across a range of staff.
Yeah.
Can you add, like, if you've watched something, can you add a commentary at the end?
Yes.
Can you say, like, from this I've realised I do this or I do that, so that if you did leave it there, people can see what it is you've picked up?
Yes, you can, and other people can comment on that and add thoughts in as well. So on the observation.
So is that a written commentary you've laid?
Yes, it's a written one, and you can also get that all printed out as well. So it's really, really impressive. Yeah.
Once you've looked at the lesson and there's just a section of it that you quite like, just an activity that you thought, well, that would be worth sharing, could you edit and just have that, or does it have to be the full lesson?
I'm not sure actually if you can take bits off it. Do you, Gail? You haven't done that?
I haven't done it, and I don't know if you can.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't done that.
No. The other versatility of it is that you could film on a digital camera and then upload it to Iris as well. So if you're doing it outside. But I think what you'd have to do is try and schedule the time of the observation, and you can stop the camera very easily. So you can say, right, I'll stop that there, and just stop the camera. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
I think from the training, I do remember you having a little bit more control about the sections.
Yeah.
You can definitely run through and sort of like stop at particular times to write your comments. So if you're just looking for where you've used open questioning, you can sort of put it in there and just star or write a little comment next to each of the types of questions that you've used in the class. So there's definitely a time frame running along the video, so I would imagine that you could clip it down.
I hope so,
but it's something that we can look into.
If you do comment on the video, you can just click on the comments then, and it will take you to the point in the video where those comments actually exist. So it's not a case of if you've got a 50-minute lesson that you've recorded and you might have only commented at minute 36, you can just click on that comment, it will take you directly to that position in the video, so that's quite powerful.
Yeah, so someone else watching your video can go click, oh, there's a there's a good question that they use, there's another one, and you'll just click to those places.
So we'll close the forum there, but do find out more about it and do use it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.